And we have, I think I would like to recall in 2014, Mr. Arun Jaitley made a statement in Parliament that the major impediment to GST was the trust deficit. The earlier finance minister, Mr. Chidambaram, did not give the promised CST compensation. And Mr. Jaitley took upon himself the job of paying those dues. And it is only after that the state governments agreed to join the GST stream. And now it's a commitment. I don't think there's any way the central government can get out of it in spite of the COVID. And COVID, unfortunately, is not the unique experience of the central government. If central government doesn't have funds, the state governments also do not have funds. And what we have promised, you have to give. I would also like to recall what Mr. Arvind Subramaniam wrote yesterday in the Indian Express, which I'm sure many of us must have read. He said, now even if you ask for a cut for a brief period, the states may not agree because that will continue. There is a trust deficit. I think and he says, if each state government starts levying its own rates, GST will be dead. And I think we have to seriously take that warning. We should keep it alive. And maybe the central government should find the funds to give to the states. There's no need of any discussion for that.
Kumar, perhaps he will be a little more kinder, to some of the same goods. And so, sir,
kinder to whom? Anyway, sir, I like the way Mr. Bimal Jain said about renegotiation. It seems even lawyers are now renegotiating their fees. Yes. Mr. Harish Salve recently said that never in my career I had a client who asked for a reduction in fees. It happened only now. And he said earlier, if somebody had told me that, I would have thrown a tantrum. But now I agree to it. So maybe what he says is when even lawyers are ready to reduce their fees, why can't the states reduce their stake a little?
Right, sir, correct.
Yeah, I think that's what Mr. Bimal Jain means.
Well, that's it, yes.
And I think there's a lot of support for Mr. Singh's idea of extending the
period of
cess for maybe indefinitely. But sir, I don't think you can extend that period after 5 years only with the consent of the GST Council. And the GST Council is not going to say, you collect it for another 5 years, but don't pay me. So as long as you collect it, the states will insist that they also get it. After all, Mr. Najib Shah once said that there would have been no opposition for this GST cess from the states because after all, it's a fund collected for them. So this whole thing is meant for them. It's not for the center to add to the consolidated fund of India. But I think we are all talking about a lot of things like increasing the tax, decreasing the tax, the base, and things like that. But I think you have rightly asked the question, what do we do now?
Yes.
And so right now we have to do something. You can't wait for 5 years for the economy to improve and then wait for the states to collect their cess. No. Today you have to do something. And maybe increasing the tax is not an option. So the only option may be borrowing or printing. You can't ask the government to beg and steal. So the only option available to the government is either borrow or print. And after all, I think the amount is not all that
great amount
that is going to hit the economy so badly. You can pay the states maybe in a few installments and find the money. In any case, it is the center's responsibility, the duty of the government to pay them. How they do it is the finance minister can't say that I don't have money for your cess, I have money for everything else. No, you'll have to find the money. And I'm sure, however serious she looks, she'll find a way.
Right. Are you around, sir?
Yeah, I'm around.
Yes, sir.
No, I've heard VK with great interest. You see, we are looking at solutions now. some solutions are immediately required because every state will be looking forward to receiving some money. And as I've consistently been mentioning, I think the center would do well to ensure, Vijay Kumar has told, we can't possibly steal, but they will do anything possible to ensure that they reach out to the states and give some money immediately. You can't have a situation where months together you have not given them any money, and that has to be met from any source, and that source can be, the center has a huge array of sources with it. It should ensure that it builds that trust and gives them